Hi, my name is Natalie Lewis, and I work at the Teachers College Reading and Writing Project. And lots of parents will ask me and my colleagues, they'll ask us about spelling development, and they'll wonder what they need to know. So, the first thing is that spelling does develop across time in stages. So, I thought I might talk a little bit about that development and how to make that happen and how you can support that. So, the first thing to know is that research does suggest that the two most important factors in spelling development are the teaching of phonics. So, in all the classrooms in which we work, spelling is being taught in a progression that moves from simpler concepts, phonics concepts, to more complex, and it also moves from more reliable phonics concepts to less predictable, less reliable phonics concepts. So the first thing is phonics really matters. The teaching of words and letters and the sounds those letters make. That's the teaching of phonics. And the second thing that matters in the progression of spelling development is the use of temporary spelling, or what some people sometimes call invented spelling. It's temporary spelling, that's a nice name for it, because that spelling won't always stay the way it is in that moment, especially if kids are beginning to use more and more the phonics they're being taught. So, first, let me do a little bit of a breakdown now about phonics, and then we'll move to how does spelling progress so that you can come to hopefully understand a little bit more about your child's development as a speller. So, phonics. First, there are really two main kinds of letters in the English language. There are consonants and there are vowels. And so this chart helps us to see the 5 vowels. Sometimes Y is a vowel, okay? But mainly it's A, E, I, O, U, and mainly they make 2 sounds, short and long, right? So this represents the short sounds, A, E, I, okay? And then there are consonants, which are all the other letters in the alphabet. Okay. So if you think about how spelling develops across time, you can think about this. If you think about how phonics develops across time, you can think about this kind of chart. Very simply, at first, children are learning to listen for sounds in spoken words, and then they move to learning the names of letters and the sounds of those letters. And then comes some vowel work. At first, short vowel work, then digraphs and blends. Digraphs are 2 letters that make one sound, like SH, CH, TH, right? Sh, right? Ch. And blends are 2 consonants that go together, but they keep their sounds. But like in the word blend, BL is a blend, right? Then we move into long vowels, and finally our control vowels. You can see in phonics, it moves from sort of consonant vowel work. And this is a very simplified progression. It's much more detailed when teachers are teaching about how words work in school. So that first part is phonics progresses, and kids across time are working on a curriculum that builds so that they're understanding more and more about how words work. Then children are in writing workshop, and in writing workshop, they're getting a chance every day to come up with ideas and then try their best to write about those ideas using temporary spelling. So that really means they're stretching out words and they're hearing sounds in words, and then they're putting down letters that represent the sounds they can hear. So if I was going to show you a pretty simple way of thinking about how spelling progresses, it might look like this, right? It might go from able to hear the final sound and put a letter. The first sound and put a letter, and then the first and last sound, and then middle sounds. Maybe those are consonants. Maybe those are vowels, and getting more and more vowels. And then eventually, kids are able to get more correct spellings. So we can really look at that by looking at this one word. We can trace spelling development. If a child was writing the word watermelon, which they may want to write, they might start off with just the W, which is the first sound they hear, watermelon. And then as they grow in their ability to hear more sounds and words, they might be able to do the first and the last sound. So watermelon, and that's a very long word. And yet in our writing workshops, and kids are really trying to write whatever they need to write to tell their stories or to teach. So you can see here now that there's more letters, and mostly these are consonants, right? They're not the vowels. The kids are hearing the consonants in the middle of that longer word, watermelon. And then in this stage, there might be several tries at getting more and more vowels in. So you can see here, still not correct, but you're seeing more vowels show up, right? Look at that, more vowels are showing up. And now look, more vowels are showing up. Notice how things like the D are how we say it. So water, right? It has to do with what I hear. We don't really say watermelon. So it matches more what kids say and hear. And then eventually kids get closer to the actual spelling, and then they're spelling it more conventionally. So it's very important that they move through the stages, weaving together the phonics development and the phonics teaching with their tries, their temporary tries at spelling the words they really want to write. So what I did is I tried now to just take a few words and try to show you what they might look like as we're passing sort of across time. So like, look, a simpler word like bag might go from first to first and last to first middle with a vowel and last. Notice it's not yet correct to correct as kids are learning about short vowels. Or here, same thing, except they might not get the blend until teachers are really starting to teach and work on blends, right? You can see I worked sort of to more complicated words. So like here, these are shorter words. Here, these are longer words, more parts, window, flower, tornado. And notice how the development sort of follows with basically consonants showing up more and then more vowels. So what I'm really hoping that this video helped you to do is it helped you to look at your child's temporary spellings and to be thinking, what can they do and what do they understand? What do they almost understand? And what are they ready to learn next about how words work? Thanks for coming. I'll see you next time. Bye.